any potential jury. Was he lying then? Was he lying now? And what did the tapes say?
Yeah, and certainly the witnesses in that room would be very key to all of this. So, Laura, don't go anywhere. Stand by for us. I do want to now bring in Trump's former attorney, Tim Parlatore, who's here. So, Tim, as Chris Christie said, some of his lawyers might be trying to jump out of a window after this interview. I don't know if, as a former attorney, you're one of them. But I wonder, given what you just heard him say, admitting he held onto the boxes in spite of a grand jury subpoena, was he admitting basically obstruction there?
It's difficult to know. This is one of the reasons why we always advise our clients, don't talk about the case. You have the right to remain silent, use it. Let your attorneys talk about it. I look at the answer that he gave there, and he says, I didn't want to give it back to NARA yet. So was he actually possibly mixing up the question and talking about, the first set of boxes before the subpoena? But here's the problem. Putting that statement out there with that question, yes, the prosecutors can absolutely use that. And even if he meant that he was talking about the NARA requests as opposed to the subpoena requests, that's going to be very difficult at trial. How are you going to overcome that? Are you going to cross-examine Bret Baier on, what do you think he meant? Or are you going to put Donald Trump on the stand to say, would you like to clarify it? It's a difficult situation.
Because he would be in a position to clarify his own statements, but then he would have to testify. But, you raised a very important question. When you were on his legal team, what was the advice about speaking publicly? This is Donald Trump. He likes to be his own spokesperson.
Well, ethically, I can't talk about the specific advice that we gave to this client. What I can tell you is that as a general practice, I always tell all of my clients, don't talk about the case.
Does this work with Trump?
I've had 2 clients that have talked about the case anyway. He's one of them. Ice-T was the other.
Ice-T was, okay.
It worked out to his benefit,
all right,
though.
So he also suggested that the FBI was stuffing the boxes with classified documents. Have you seen any evidence that would have supported that?
I haven't seen any evidence of that. I've obviously gone through all the boxes that were sent back to NARA way back in the beginning, the first 15 boxes, and so I saw how the classified documents or the marked documents were mixed in on those. We never got to see what the boxes looked like that were taken during the raid. We never got to get an inventory of that to be able to kind of compare and contrast that. So whether they did or they didn't, I'm not going to opine because I didn't see anything either way.
So Judge Cannon today set a trial date for mid-August. That was a surprise to a lot of people. Do you expect the pretrial motions will inevitably push that back?
Absolutely. That's kind of a standard thing. So some judges, they do like to set trial dates. Some don't bother because they know that it's a fake date anyway. To use an overused term of fake. What they do is, they'll set a trial date, Judge Cannon set a trial date based on the speedy trial clock, but that clock stops for any number of reasons. Right. And so as soon as they file motions, the clock's going to stop.
So given how complicated this case could be, the government, a lot of times with these national security cases, they don't have an interest in wanting it to be dragged out in public. But in this case, you have a candidate, a defendant who is a candidate who may also not want to have that happen. Is it in Trump's best interest right now to consider a plea?
Right now, before having the benefit of the discovery, I don't think so. I think that he needs to see what the actual discovery is so that he can make a better informed decision. I know that this particular client